What's up, everybody? Ty Bartell in with another edition of Player Profile. This time we head to my friends over with the Canfield Lady Cardinals basketball program. One of the juniors with that program, Sophia Castronova, joining me today. Soph, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad, and you're not doing too bad as well on that Lady Cardinals team. 14-1, you guys are right now during this season, and it's been an incredible run. Talk to me just a little bit about what it's like, the experience playing with this team this year, and the fun you're having with it.
It's been great. We're having so much fun, and I'm just really proud of the way we've been playing, through tough games, through, even when we're tired, we're just pushing the whole time and we're not giving up.
When we talk about this team too, it's unique because any girl any given night can go off and be the big time scorer. With that type of team too, does it make it hard to kind of know what your role is? What do you say your role is? How do you define your role with this team?
I think my role is mostly just, getting others the ball. I think I'm a good passer, and if I can get open shots, then obviously we'll take that. But of course, if other people are open, if it's not my night, then we have so many other people that can go off.
You talked about this team though too. You talked about your passing ability, but this team as a whole loves to pass the ball, and you guys like to move the ball around. What's that kind of like? What's the offense kind of like playing with an unselfish team like that, where everyone wants to pass the ball, everyone wants to get the assist?
It's great. I mean, because when I'm open, I know that somebody's going to get me the ball. And even if I don't make the first shot, then they're still going to get me the ball the second time, the third time, even fourth, fifth, and sixth. It just goes on and on.
So let's rewind these chapters back to the first one for the sport of basketball for you. What's some of the earliest memories you have? What's the first time you remember picking up the ball?
I remember like the Y playing against, girls who go to Austintown, Fitch, Boardman. Like I've played against those girls for years. And then fifth and sixth grade, I remember playing with these same Canfield girls. And seventh and eighth grade, I mean, I just kind of fell in love. And Coach Merritt, Coach Harmon really helped prepare me for the high school level. And now I'm here. I just couldn't be more grateful for the people that have put me in this position. And I just love it so much.
What about the seventh and eighth grade years made you fall in love with the sport?
I think the team aspect, just like being around the girls, like they're amazing. And we just have been able to bond for so long. And that really just made me fall in love.
How much do you attribute this team's success to having those multiple years that you've played with these girls and the times you've been able to hang out and spend with them off the court as well?
I mean, it's a lot. Some of us play softball, but Jenna and Carly, we knew them in seventh and eighth grade, but we did not play with them for the first time until freshman year, and we just clicked. And we know each other so well. We get the chemistry, and it's just been great.
When we talk about just your role in sports too, and kind of you becoming a leader now, you're going into one of your upperclassmen years. You're a junior now. You're an upperclassman now officially. What has that been like too, and how have you kind of developed yourself, seen yourself develop as a leader? What are some things you're trying to take on as more of a leadership role this year?
I feel like getting everybody involved, even the freshmen through the sophomores. If they're not if they're not engaged in practice, then we want everybody to be there. They help us so much. Even if they don't see varsity minutes, they help us more than they know. Just every day at practice, being there, going hard, participating in everything.
We talked about some of the successes you've had personally this season. I want to know some of the successes that have stood out in your mind throughout your entire basketball career. What's some of your best games that you've had that stick out?
Um, I think the best I played was this year at Boardman. I was just really proud of that performance and overall the team, not just myself. The team played so well. Fitch, I didn't score too much at Fitch, but I still thought I played okay. And we knew that was going to be a tough game going into it. And we just persevered through it. And I was just really proud of the way we played and I played.
I know you don't take scoring as the end all be all of what makes a good performance. What do you qualify as a good performance in your mind? When the game's over, what do you say? I've had a good game. I've had a bad game. What goes into that?
I think rebounds. We played against Laurel, I think, or against Glen Oak, and I had 9 rebounds and 0 points. And I was really proud of myself because we're an undersized team and rebounding has always been our biggest thing. And I was just able to get it done that time.
Who are some of the role models you have in the sport of basketball, or some players, either whether it's in college, whether it's in the pro ranks, whether it's someone that's played at Canfield? Who are some players you've kind of looked up to and try to emulate?
I'd say at Canfield, Cammy Dill, Cammy Ritz, and Macy. I've known those girls for a long time, and they really helped me get my footing. And I mean, I'm just so grateful for them. And the pros, I mean, Kyrie is iconic. The Cavs 2016, I mean, it's unbelievable. And he's just such a great ball handler, and I love watching him.
You seem like you are a very big fan of the sport as well as just being an athlete inside of it. It seems like you also enjoy it off the court as well.
Mhm.
When we talk about your relationships with the other girls too, and the rich history of success that girls basketball has had at Canfield too, what were some of those things that you learned and you took away from your freshman and sophomore year that's really starting to help you now that you're in the upperclassmen years too? You're in late junior year now in the sport.
I mean, my freshman year, I like remember a lot of games. My freshman year, we lost to Salem at home, and I remember those seniors just absolutely bouncing back from that. We lost in the regional semifinals, but seeing them lose that game and then literally do a full 180 and just have a great season the rest of the year was awesome to see.
What's the biggest thing the sport of basketball has taught you about yourself?
Think that there's highs and lows, and you just have to enjoy every moment.
When you kind of apply that to your everyday life, how have you been able to correlate that kind of what the sports taught you to your everyday life?
I think like a lot of school, obviously. If one test doesn't go well, then put in the extra work for the next one, and do everything you can for to get another good grade, and just keep going no matter what you do.
You talk about student athletes in today's world, and I always find it fascinating because we didn't have this when I was in school, and I only graduated in 2017, just less than 10 years ago. It feels like forever for me. But when you talk about that, this kind of thing that's around too, and you have the pressure, I feel like just high school sports in general has leveled up a ton in the last 10 years. You're seeing everyone around the area too. There's so many premier athletes. When we talk about the struggles of being a student athlete, and like you talked about balancing those grades too, getting those good test scores too, while also making sure you're putting time in on the court, what are the challenges with that too? How have you kind of found your success with it to be able to balance it out? Maybe some advice to some younger players that are going to be coming up into the high school ranks that have to start dealing with the pressures of both.
I think like separating school and sports, like obviously you do school sports, but like when you're in school, like you don't have to think about it because it really is like your life. Like basketball is basically my life. It's every day. And I think like focusing on where you're at in the moment is the biggest thing for me.
When you talk about basketball being your life, and I mean that's what a lot of athletes do, they dedicate their life to it. Do you have to, for you personally, do you find yourself having to have something that just breaks up basketball that obviously isn't school, that isn't work related stuff? What's kind of your thing that kind of breaks it up? What's kind of like your hobby or your getaway time thing that you go to?
I'd say just hang out with friends, driving around. Um, it sounds crazy. Like I love watching Ohio State football. It's my favorite thing, and they're playing in the national championship this week. And if we lose, if like the basketball team will lose, I'll just go watch an Ohio State game, and I honestly love it. My siblings go there, and we love the Buckeyes.
I was gonna say it has to be a family thing too for this love for sports that you have too. What's that kind of like? What's the family and what's the household dynamic been like growing up with a sports fanatic family?
My brother and I are like we're 2 years apart. We are so competitive. We fight each other on everything and all the time.
What's you talk about the Castronova household too, and the competitiveness in there too? What kind of edge did that give you too going into sports, having those kind of the brothers in the household too that were competitive with you from early on?
I think it gave me like a little tough spot, definitely. Like I would just like nothing compares to like fighting with him, even on the court. And like it'll just never be like as big, like because we always want to win against each other. So it just makes it more fun on the court.
I love the kind of way that Canfield always gives back to the younger basketball teams too, and always kind of has them around the high school team. I think it was the fourth grade team that was there cheering you guys on the other day in that game against Howland too. What's that like for you too? And if you could offer a bit of advice to maybe those young girls too that were cheering you guys on, of that want to be in your shoes one day, that want to be playing varsity, what's the advice you'd give them?
I'd say just keep pushing. It gets tough, and my freshman and sophomore years were a lot of fun, but they weren't like all like sunshine and rainbows. And I kept pushing, and like my junior year has just been great. I'm so happy about that, and just keep going, keep pushing.
What's one of the things you wish you would have worked on more when you were in the fifth, sixth, seventh grade ages?
Shooting for sure.
When you talk about shooting too, what was some of the things you had to do personally to get yourself to level up in that too, to be able to be a varsity level shooter and be a threat?
I think kind of just breaking down my shot in general. I think I had a lot of like it was just a lot of different variables going into it my freshman and sophomore year, but now I really put in the work and I focus on doing the same shot every time. The summer, the same shot. Like it's no different.
I know you've been around a lot of great basketball minds. What's one of the best basketball minds that you've been around, and what have they? What are some significant things that they've helped you with?
I mean, I have to say Coach Real and Coach Pap. I mean, they've just been around us and the program for so long, and they definitely helped me owning my confidence, just being who I am. I'm not the fastest, but they always tell me that. They always make sure I know that, but they really help me to make sure that I play my game and I don't try to be anybody else on the court.
And I love basketball for that too. You don't have to be the fastest, you don't have to be the tallest too, but if you could find your role, you can really be an impact player on the court too. When
Mhm.
you talk about, we talked about your role with that too, and we talk about finding your confidence. How much of the game is a confidence battle for you personally? Would you say it's one of those things where it matters a lot to you? Where do you rank confidence for you to have a good game?
I'd say it's pretty high. Against Howland, I was like 1 for 6 shooting. So the next day I wasn't feeling pretty good. I wasn't feeling too good, but I think if like when my shot's feeling good, it's it's gonna go up. So I think it definitely contributes a lot.
Is it something that you find out during game time? I guess in a sense, do you have to feel good to play good, or do you have to play good to feel good?
Um, I think you have to feel good to play good, honestly. When we'll shoot before the JV plays. If I shoot good, then I feel like I'm gonna shoot bad before the game. But if I shoot bad and then I'll shoot good in warm-ups, then I feel good, and then I'll like shoot good during the game. It's a weird thing.
Do you have any other superstitions that kind of plague your mind throughout the game?
I always take my risks. I guess that's just I love listening to music before games, so that's probably the biggest too.
What's kind of the genre of music you listen to?
So in the locker room, it's definitely rap, but I love Zach Bryan so much. He's my favorite artist of all time. I went to his concert, and it's just like that's the best music I've ever heard, and
Are you
it's
one do you need the hype up music, or do you need something kind of mellow and calm to get you into lockdown mode?
for pregame, definitely hype up.
Okay, you need the blood flowing and the juices pumping, no doubt.
Mhm.
We talk about this team too, and I mean, you being a junior on it too, you still have another year after it, and this team already, I know, I'm sure has some lofty expectations too. What are some of your personal goals? What are some of the team's goals that you can share right now?
I think AAC is definitely we want to win the AAC. We did it 2 years ago. We didn't last year. I think that's been one of our main goals. We have a really tough conference this year, and I think playing hard every game, going all out, doing what the scouting report says, and I think if we do that, we'll be good.
Before I let you go, Soph, I always want to give the student athletes a chance to get the spotlight themselves and shine it on whoever they would like to. That's been there for them, help them along the way throughout their journey in this career.
I just like to thank my family, my friends, my softball coaches. My travel team has been there for me through everything, and I love them so much. All my family, my aunts, uncles, siblings, grandparents, and they've been here for me. Coaches, everybody has been there for me, and I'm just so grateful for all of them.
Well, we are grateful to be able to see what you've been able to do on the court and what you continue to be able to grow in on the basketball court too. I'm excited to see what this Cards team continues to do, and I'm sure within due time I'll be seeing you guys again real soon.
All right.
This has been a first edition of Player Profile with Sophia Castronova.
Thank you.